Hello and welcome to the aForm Show, the premier podcast for all things architecture and design across the MENA region. Welcome to your tribe. Today's episode is supported by SkyStruct, the groundbreaking construction and project management solution that's absolutely turning heads in the industry. They are bringing together architects, engineers, project managers, procurement, and essentially any stakeholder onto one singular platform. Yes, clients are included. SkyStruct is genuinely changing the game. Its tailored modules for construction management, inventory, labor, cost management helps streamline the chaos of construction projects. They are rolling out very soon in Dubai, but you as the listener can get in early. Drop us an email at hello@aform.studio and find out how SkyStruct is the future, and it is here today. Now, let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to the aForm Show. This week we are joined by the lovely Shuchita Gupta.
I'm so glad you got my name and it wasn't Shu and just Shu for a change. However, this industry definitely knows me as Shu.
Shu? All right. So, we're joined by Shu as well. And unless as a designer in Dubai or even the GCC for that matter, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably have not heard of Index. And if you have heard of Index, we are talking to pretty much the powerhouse behind Index. Anything to do with Index. If you've ever walked in and thought, hey, this is a pretty cool event, I kind of like what's going on, Shu is who is responsible pretty much for putting it all together behind the scenes. And I have been a fan of the show for a couple of years now. As fate would have it, it always coincides with my birthday, which is kind of like 24th May. And so much so... Yeah. And so much so, right? I mean, this is where it gets a bit more awkward. So much so that every year I actually take a couple of days off just so that I can attend Index in its entirety, as in talk to talk, end to end kind of thing over the 2 days. And while that is a bit intense, I agree, and not everyone should do that. For me personally, I don't do it for a lot of events. In fact, I don't think I do it for any other event. The reason why I do it for Index is because for me personally, as a designer, someone who kind of flirts with both architecture and interior design, I find a lot of value at Index. And hence, this year, fortunately, I was able to play a bit more of an active role at Index.
Yes, very active. You were the chairperson, you were a panelist.
Yes. And I then actually got to see the almost, the behind the scenes of the show and how it's all put together. And that's when I met you and actually understood the scale of Index and what actually goes behind it. So without further ado, first things first, what I want to talk about is there are many events and you obviously come from the events industry. So I'm sure you know of pretty much all the events that happen in the design space. According to you, what really makes Index different or stand out?
I think Index is a legacy, right? It's not just a show that we've launched out of the blue or because someone else was doing it. 33 years ago, Index was launched in Dubai. And that's like over 3 decades. Just to tell you how young I am, that's also older than me as well. So just to give some perspective,
Right.
But having said that, Index has, been there for so long. And that's why we say it's the oldest and the largest regional show. Throwing some truth bombs as well, like any other show, Index has had its own journey of ups and downs. Of course, COVID, not to be forgotten. But the one thing that has remained with Index, and I think that makes us different, is the passion that the team has. It's all collaboration, like literally. It's the moment, because I remember I joined back in 21 when they had finished just the first show post-COVID, and the whole thing given to me was we need to transform it and take it to the next level. And that's the mindset I went with. And I think I could see that with everyone, not just with content side, but I saw the sales team, I saw the marketing team, I saw ops, I saw the senior management. Everyone was with that same mindset that we have to elevate Index. And year on year, that's exactly what we keep doing. And we aim to do is just get better. And I'm not saying the other shows don't. But as Index in particular, we really strive for the best. We want the best. We want everyone to experience like they have it all. Like you said, it's the perfect flirting between architecture and interior design.
Right.
We also try to have some global touch to it. So if you notice, we have a lot of country pavilions that join us as well. It's not just your local exhibitors. We also have the global aspect to it. We have a lot of content going on. This year we also launched the Flooring and Surfaces Summit, where you were the chairperson. So we are just trying to understand the industry a lot more with the kind support of this wonderful industry that we're all a part of, and just to see what we can keep doing better, elevate ourselves, make sure you're having fun, make sure we have fun, and overall across those 3 days, just literally feel like Index. And I really hope someday everyone sees Index as important as you do. Honestly, love it. Love your loyalty, love your dedication to it. It means a lot to us because that's what really helps shape Index be different from the other shows itself. It's when designers start looking at us as really important, not just from an exhibition point of view, but from a content point of view, maybe a networking point of view, and feel it's important to actually maybe just be there for all 3 days, start to end. And I think that's going to be our ultimate aim. And it's good to know that we need to keep working towards it so that everyone can feel that way.
In all honesty, a lot of people who I speak to almost share the sentiment to some extent. I think a lot of people look to Index as kind of almost, because it comes at that kind of awkward time in summer, right? Like it's not summer yet. And the first quarter is just started, financially speaking, so it does come at that kind of point where a lot of designers are kind of forward thinking and looking at, all right, what do we want to achieve for the next year? What kind of vendors do we want on board? What kind of suppliers do we want on board? And I think that whole international aspect also was quite interesting to me because, again, as designers, all of you are listening, we all know how busy we are. We all know how difficult it is to spec a product, let alone internationally find someone and spec them. And something like Index just puts it all in a nice little concentrated pool of, good quality vendors, I feel. But more importantly, what I also wanted to touch upon was, again, this is maybe me being biased, but generally speaking, I've found that the Index talks, for example, the content of that, and when I say content, I'm talking more about the selection of speakers, the actual talking points. Not only are they relevant, but they're actually very well researched to some extent. It's almost you somehow know what designers are thinking about. And you talk exactly about that. And it's sort of a misstep with other events where it becomes, a bit more generic, where it's always like, trends in sustainability and, future of interior design, where admittedly there are, possibly some good insights, but they're not really very niche and specific, which I think Index does. A bit of a risk, if you ask me, because it could go either way.
Yeah.
But I want to understand, was that sort of the direction that you wanted to go with?
So I've worked, as you had mentioned before, in events before joining Index as well. And the one thing we've understood about production, mainly with content, is if it's not relevant to your audience, it's not relevant at all.
Right.
So the best way to do it and understand how you can remain relevant and up to date with the market is by actually talking to them.
Right.
And that's one thing that I really strive at doing. Not just me, my team. We really work hard in understanding what the designers are actually talking about. What are their challenges? What are their thoughts on certain things?
Right.
Which is why even something like Flooring and Surfaces was brought into life, because we saw that sort of need for having it. And I think it was a good launch. If you ask me, I think the topics were great. And I got the feedback from you as well, as you were a wonderful chairperson. And we also had other people, come and tell us that the idea was great. And maybe we should look at, doing more of it on the show floor. Now, this industry, and I do have to really mention this, has been so wonderful in welcoming me, because I had no connections to design from any sort of time period in my life, but they've been so kind to welcome me and talk to me and literally spend hours talking to me about what's going on, what are the plans, what's new. And very early on, I'm just going to do some name dropping because these are conversations.
Let it rip.
I'm never going to forget. One is, of course, Estra, the chairperson of Index that she's been right from 22, 23, and she's been extremely helpful and insightful. But besides her, two people I'm never going to forget are Jenny Binchi and Firas. And here's the reason why. Jenny was my first ever design meeting. So the first architect designer I met was Jenny Binchi in my life. And it was preset by my lovely colleague Laura, who has been with this industry for a bit. And the sort of insights and the warmth I got from Jenny, it was a confidence booster. And I said, hey, I think I can do it. And then my next meeting was with Firaz, another energy ball in his office. And I cannot imagine, and I don't know if anyone's going to believe me, but he was so kind in terms of he sat down and actually showed me the metaverse. Because I had no clue what the metaverse was. And he literally sat me down and said, this is how the metaverse is. This is how you buy land. This is what you do. And it was a 1 hour meeting. Supposedly that was easily 2 hours, 15 minutes. But as long as he knew he was actually guiding me and teaching me something, he had that excitement, he had that joy. And I think this is when I realized that this industry is wonderful. The people associated with it, right from, the owners to the directors to the architects itself, designers, they're so passionate about what they do that they really want to spread knowledge and share it with people. And that was my, I think, happiest moment, because that's when I gained everything. And I said, hey, I've spoken to so many wonderful people. They've shared so much with me. Now it's time to give them back something in return. And then you sort of put the agenda together, you rephrase them, which is our speciality. You sort of like rephrase them into topics, put everything together, and then you kind of then start understanding that this particular topic is something that they do better or they do more in the market. So how about they come and share their insights on something like this? Because as a designer or architect, you yourself know you can talk about everything. I can put you on sustainability. I can put you on future of design. I can put you on retail design or something. So you know the basics. Of course you do. But there are certain things that you personally as an architect are specialize in or are very passionate about. And that's when you can really talk about it a lot. And that's the sort of link I think we do well.
No, it's true. It's true.
How we want to continue it.
I mean, again, just to continue the shout out, Jenny and Firas are friends of the show. Jenny has been on way back in the past. And if you're listening to this, Jenny, we love you.
Hi, Jenny.
We definitely want to have you back on. Jenny's episode, to me personally, kind of sits in one of my top 5 episodes, if I must say. And it's not that we've done, thousands of these, but it's definitely up there. And, for us is kind of the reason why even you and I met, for example.
Yes, I owe him that. Thank you for us.
So, but I completely agree in what you say. I have this feeling that, again, because, you come from another industry and maybe you because of events, perhaps have seen other industries as well, technology and, pharma and so on and so forth. And again, I can talk to design in Dubai specifically, but I know that there are other design communities internationally where good designers are almost clannish. Wherein we're kind of like, this closed elite club, which is very difficult to get into. To some extent, it is there here, especially for someone like intern Shweta, who is sitting right next to us. Nice little segue into that. But for all the interns listening, I would like to point something out. So, intern Shweta was late today, and she was late.
And she didn't get any nice shots of me yet. Oh my God. For all the effort I put in to get ready.
Exactly. But there was a reason for that. And the reason was because you had your parking test today.
Was it worth it? Ooh,
all right.
Okay.
Let's hear it from her. Did you pass the test?
I did. On my 4th try, but I did.
All right. Okay. So your tardiness is forgiven. All right. So for all the interns listening, right? Even if you are late, as long as you've done something substantial by being late, I think people will forgive you.
I think you need to have a boss like Alan for that. Just putting it out there.
All right. So we digress. So let's come back. So my point is that designers can be quite clannish, especially good designers. more so because I think they're a bit fearful and very kind of careful of their time, perhaps. They don't want to be, doing too much with, the wrong people and things like that. But I find that here, generally speaking, and especially having done this show for so long, most 99% of designers want to talk about what they're doing and want to help you in what you're doing, which I find very strange, but very exciting at the same time.
I think that's why I'm quite blessed that I'm in this part of the world
Right.
with this industry, because I have also heard stories and instances where it's not the same,
Yeah.
everywhere else.
Yeah.
But I think the reason that they give time to, to talk about it is because they're really so passionate that they feel so happy knowing that it's actually coming out of use.
Right.
It's not like they're just standing and talking somewhere.
Yeah.
They feel like it's the right platform, because
Yeah.
I don't think these people are going to go up and talk on any random platform.
Correct.
They need to be convinced enough that this is the right place for them.
Yeah.
It's the right audience. What they talk and what they preach is actually taken in.
Yeah.
And it's not just people sitting in the audience dazed
Yeah.
or without a clue,
Yeah.
what to do. So while they are wonderful, they're also very busy people. And I know how much sometimes I struggle reaching to most of them.
Right.
But fair enough, there's not been one instance where they've not gotten back. Even if they can't make it,
Yeah.
they have always let me know. So I've never been hung in the middle like,
Right.
oh, are they coming? Are they not coming?
Right.
So full credit to them. But I think I do agree that this is probably also the region in play, and it's something that's not global.
Yeah. I do have a bit of another theory for that as well, which is, and this is a recurring theme in the show, which is that Dubai, generally speaking, is a very transient sort of society. And therefore, designers also tend to be quite transient. And therefore, I kind of feel that there are almost like these two schools, wherein there are some designers who are like, yeah, I'm here for a job. I'm in at 8, I'm out at 6, or I'm out at 5, or whatever it is. I don't need to network. I don't need to be part of the ecosystem. This is a job. It pays me. I'm here for the next 3 years and then I'm out. And then there's the other side, which has, the Jennies and the Binchies and, and Firas. And I feel that side of it has probably transitioned also into probably ownership of design firms.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why it also plays a big deal, because they're thinking very long term now. Right? For them, this isn't a job. This isn't, or even an income for that matter. This is something which they want to build and probably build legacy on. So they see the investment into time, into the ecosystem as something that benefits them long term. I mean, this is my theory. Do you think there's any truth to that?
Yeah. I think I do agree with you, because funny enough, I've had these sort of conversations, with Chris Barnes, Pallavi. And in those sort of conversations, it was always very future thinking. And it's not about me.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's about, okay, now I need to build a legacy over here.
Yep.
And what can I do to sort of, build it up? People take more ownership, they're more empowered, and they're all working towards it. So 100%.
I kind of got that feeling too. Initially, I thought it was just me. I mean, again, I'm a bit biased. I'm born and raised here. So for me, this is like, yeah, why wouldn't I want to make the ecosystem better? Like it's a no-brainer for me almost, but I can see how it's not for most, and then it is for some. So cool. Good to know that I'm not a crazy person, and that
either you're not, or then we both are. So high five.
All right. Just coming back to Index then. So now, obviously, Index has quite a bit of legacy here. And by the time this episode comes out, or maybe just around or just before, I'm not sure, I understand that Index is going international. Is that true?
Ooh. Yes. I mean, Index is going to Saudi, but that's not
Okay.
the first time. Index
Is it?
yes. Index in Saudi was, I think, launched 5 years ago. It was
okay.
in Jeddah earlier.
All right.
And then 2 years ago, we moved it to Riyadh.
Okay.
Last year was the launch of Index Design Talks in
Okay.
Riyadh, actually, and it was massive.
Yeah.
And you can just see the hunger in, them to learn, to meet, to network. It was amazing.
So sorry. Can I then quickly ask: are these the audience there? Are these mainly designers, or are these kind of potential clients that are coming to these talks or?
So it's a mix of everything. And, one thing I really want to highlight is not just in Dubai, but also in Saudi. The one thing Index is really trying to do is sort of bridge the gap between academia and design.
Yes.
And this is why the Index student competition was also
Hmm.
launched in Dubai. And we did really well. I'm very proud to say we actually placed 10 interns in the
Nice.
top firms that literally exist here. You had Rohr, Space, Woods Bagot, Gensler,
Yeah.
Bishop Design, you name it, they were there. And trust me when I tell you, all the main people were actually there representing it. That's how passionate even they felt about it. The reason I'm saying this is, besides some promotion, but
We're all about promotion on the aForm show. It's all good.
but the reason I'm saying this is because there are also quite a lot of students
Right.
who come in. There are designers and architects, and you also have few suppliers who come in. So it's a very mixed audience. Actually, it's very
Yeah.
difficult for me to say only this person comes in on that.
Yeah.
But it's very design and architecture heavy because there was so much interaction. And in Saudi, show timings are different, right? It's 4 to 10 p.m. And one would expect that people sort of will get tired by 9:30 and they leave. But here's the story. My conference, which is the last day, the final day when you expect everything to get over slightly earlier so
Yeah,
you can just
hopefully.
go and celebrate. 9:45, my last session is still going on, and the
Wow.
question answers are non-stop. And I'm sitting there in a corner like, oh my God, guys, this place is shutting down in 15 minutes. This is my last day. I wanted to go around and see the place.
Right.
But I am here. And there was so much interaction. There was so much conversation. And no one was shying off of, having it. And that's when I realized how far even Saudi has come.
Hmm.
That's how exciting it is for them. And it's just a blast. Like, I cannot wait for this year's index to see how much interaction, networking, and knowledge is going to be actually shared over there.
Okay. Interesting. I feel like I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. Do you think someone who attends Index in Dubai should also attend Index in Saudi?
Absolutely. And no, this is not because I'm biased. But here's the thing, Index in Dubai is very different from Index in Saudi. Now, you'll ask me how. I mean, it's still the same design and architecture. The If you kind of just see the topics, just to run through between Dubai and Saudi, you'll see such a difference as well. With Saudi, we're talking a lot more even about real estate and how project delivery. We're talking about the opportunities and challenges in Saudi. We're talking about design diplomacy. We're talking about cultural exchange. And it's very important over there at this point because everyone is, working with Saudi.
Yeah.
And some people have a lot of questions whether should we not. And the one thing I'm very proudly going to say this, we do well. Saudi is not just a global show for us. Like, it's not like we bring in all the global designers or just, the top regional designers. We also bring in a lot of local designers. So people who are behind the scenes and you're not really sure of or not heard of, but they're actually wonderful architects and designers within Saudi who you have their own design firms and must be working with some. And they are amazing and they're working on some of the biggest projects in Saudi.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good mix of people that you might not always have in Dubai as well, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So there is no particular reason that you should feel like, oh, it's just Index. I've done it in Dubai. I don't need to be in Saudi.
Yeah.
Of course, you need to be in Saudi because you don't just have different speakers, you also have different exhibitors. You
Right.
have a very good local range over there, but you're also now seeing the attraction of the global companies coming there as well. Maybe what one company exhibited in Dubai, they're going to exhibit different in Saudi. So you can never really be sure
Yeah,
that it's
true.
literally a copy paste. If anything, it's seeming to really get its own identity and develop into something altogether. So
Interesting.
exciting.
Interesting. I completely agree that there is, I mean, you sort of alluded to it earlier, wherein there's almost this hunger for like design
There is.
discourse to an extent, which is to me honestly not surprising because again, I sort of come from the area, well, not Saudi, but I understand what's happening there. So I know what the designers are like there, and in my opinion, some of the best designers worldwide, even not just Saudi based. But I can see how someone who's never been there would think, really?
Exactly.
Is that what it is there? Really? For, of course, multiple reasons, but I can see how that's the case. So clearly I'm a fan of Index. In
Oh
case I
my
didn't
God,
in case I didn't make that clear.
I cannot, but genuinely, I cannot thank you enough for your loyalty and support to Index. I think everyone hearing, we need to give him a clap,
Oh.
because it really means a lot to us. And I cannot stress on this enough. As a team, we don't work on zillion projects. Index is, I mean, not just Index. I mean, we have Hotel Show, Leisure, and Workspace.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk about Index mainly. And Index is something that we all work on very passionately, every year. And our strategy is going to start from like October.
Yeah.
And every year there's going to be brainstorming that this is what we need to do and this is what we need to do. Maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. And that's what I mean by saying there's so much collaboration, and that's what Index is all about as well. You collaborate with each other. You collaborate with your contractors, your clients, and your other architects and designers. And for us, that's exactly how we bring together this whole show. The design and hospitality show that we do. It's literally collaboration of each and every department and what we can do better and how do we do it, how do we get there. Let's put together a better content agenda. We need to do something more powerful. We need to do better and some more fancier designer installations. We need to do this, and maybe we elevate our competitions. So there's so much going about, and that excitement that comes together from the team, I think, is really what keeps Index going. And when architects like you actually come in and say that you love it, you're a fan, you're so loyal, this is when we feel like we've made it. Like, that we're on the right track. We're doing something right, that you still feel like it's important to take those 3 days off.
Yep.
And on your birthday, spend it with Index. However, I have some news to give you. Your birthday is not going to be with Index next year. Next year in Dubai, Index is 4th to 6th of June. So
okay.
you can maybe cut your cake in peace this time.
I can see a lot of family members who are like, yes, finally.
Finally, it's not off from like 10 to 7.
No, but the reason why I say I'm a fan is because there's a lot of value that I get there personally. I mean, I'm quite happy to share an example.
Yes,
which
please.
is, I think it was day 2, not this year, the year before. This year I was a bit preoccupied. I could not do much. But last year, in between talks, it just so happened I got an email from one of our projects saying, hey, listen, this sort of glazing supplier that we have on board, out of budget, need to find a vendor ASAP or else, project delay, etc., etc., etc. And I was sitting there at these talks thinking, like, while I was there, but my mind was kind of like racing, thinking, okay, we've kind of gone through, the top 3 I would know. I don't know of anyone else. Who can I ask for, another vendor? And it just so happened that I was walking through the stalls and found a vendor that had exactly what I needed, coincidentally.
Wow.
And it was kind of like winning the lottery almost, because I was like, have you done work in Dubai? Yes. Is this product available? Yes. Is there any lead time on it? No. Could you meet me on site tomorrow? Yes. I'm like, bloody hell. It like it all just synced up. And I mean, that's of course a very extreme example. I admit, I don't expect all designers to have things like that happen. But
that's amazing. The fact that it even happened.
Yeah.
And the fact that we know about it. See, that's the beauty. I mean, the reason that I'm so excited to hear it, Alan, of course, just because Index is, of course, the show that I work on and we work very closely on it. But I think what really excites me is hearing these sort of stories. And I think I should officially name you as the walking, talking testimonial for Index, because I am so...
Link to the episode is below.
I've heard great stuff about Index over the last 2 years, which I'm very grateful for. But the sort of examples and the way you're talking about it just makes me overflow with happiness. Breakfast is on me after this, indeed.
No, but in all honesty, it's not just me. It's many designers. And especially this year, whoever I spoke to shared the very same sentiment. They were like, there's just this energy behind Index this year, which was undeniable, which a lot of designers, if they went this year, I mean, they could tell. So that's actually why I wanted to have you on the show. I'm like, tell us, what's your secret? What is the secret sauce that's there behind this?
Cannot.
All
No,
right.
but I think the secret sauce is the passion from the industry.
Hmm.
And that's what kind of delivers to the team. And then it's the passion for the industry.
Gotcha.
So it's a two-way segment. It's not like we're just doing it forcefully for someone. We want to do it. We want to get better. We
Right.
want to see those smiles. We want to see those celebrations. And see, I am a producer at the end of the day, so I have worked across multiple industries, and it's a lot of people feel I'm very biased because I'm with this industry now. But the reality is, and I'm very happy to say this openly, I have never come across an industry like design and architecture in this region that is so open, that is so willing to just embrace you. I mean, if you have the right mindset, of course, they
Right.
just don't embrace everyone
Yeah.
and anyone. But it's such a nice industry. Like, I was so surprised that you can just call a designer up and they want to meet you for coffee.
Yeah.
I used to get so scared. I used to just write like these long ass emails and keep sending everyone because I said, okay, I know they're busy, they have no time.
Right.
And Laura, the colleague I spoke about earlier, she came to me and she said, are you mad? What are you doing? I said,
Straight to junk.
Yeah. I said, I'm writing emails, and she's like, this is not how you do it in this part,
Yeah.
of design and architecture. You have to do it differently. I said, oh, so I need to start cold calling them. She's like, oh my God, no. You have to call them, but meet them for coffee.
Yeah.
And I said, who's going to meet me for coffee? These are owners and founders and CEOs. She said, just try it.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized there's no one who says no.
Yeah.
Because they love meeting people. I mean, that's their everyday job. They meet clients,
Yeah.
they sort out in the human interaction, but they are so out there,
Yeah.
ready to meet the right people, to sort of have the right conversations,
Yeah.
as long as they know it's going in the right direction, as we
Absolutely.
spoke about earlier, and it's not just their time wasted. And that means a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I really respect all the designers and architects. And I'm so excited. I feel like a small kid, whenever I see them, I'm bursting with joy. It's because also, in a way, you guys make Index. Let's be honest. If any of you, it's like pieces of the puzzle. So if you guys don't,
Yeah.
then there are a few pieces that leave this puzzle incomplete.
Yeah.
And it's a combination of everyone that makes
Yeah.
Index what it is today.
True.
So,
True.
yeah.
I want to take what you said into a slightly different direction, because I think for a lot of our younger audience, intern Shwetas of the world, there's a lot of parallels that you can also take away from what Shuchita just said, which is, I know that as a fresh grad, it's difficult to get into an office,
Yeah.
right? It's difficult because odds are you're doing exactly what Shu was about to do, which is send a long email to a designer. And the worst is when it's, dear sir, ma'am, I'm a graduate and I've done
Yeah,
this and
oh
I've done this,
God.
and here's my 80-page portfolio that doesn't open. I can see how that would be, kind of the first thing that you would do, but you'd actually be surprised if you were to say pick a firm that you really, 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 really want to work at, right? And you really research them and you know what they're about, and you basically, I mean, what I've done in the past is that I found this God, and if he hears about the story, he will kill me. But I'm going to say it nonetheless. So I wanted to work for this firm, and the director there, one of the rock stars of the industry, basically. And so I basically wanted to work for him, not so much for the studio per se. And I went into like a deep dive of who this guy was, right? And this is a story which a few of my colleagues know, where I've kind of like, I found out that he really liked these truffles from like this place in City Walk.
God. I know where this is going.
And I think you might actually know the guy even. I mean, apparently this is a known thing. In any case, the point is, I found that out, right? So I go to this place, I get this box, I design my portfolio to kind of sit in this little package along with these inside, along with these truffles.
Amazing.
And I just walk up cold to the office, right? And I say, listen, I'm here to just drop this off, this bag for so and so, and just ensure that he gets it. Of course, they were like, what is it? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's a gift from a fan, right? It was something as simple as that. And funny story, a week goes by, I hear nothing. 2 weeks go by, I hear nothing. I'm like, oh, well, shot in the dark, worth the shot, In the third week, I get a call from him directly saying, who are you?
Who are you little creep?
and then he knew, I mean, of course he was kidding, but he knew who I was, and
Yeah.
he knew because he saw my portfolio, and he's
Mhm.
like, are you still looking for a job? Would you want to come work? Would you want to have a coffee? Can you meet today? And
Yeah.
that's pretty much how it went down. And it's kind of crazy how, had I gone down the other route, which is the long email
Yeah.
and just send it across, I don't think that would have happened.
I actually have to 100% agree with you on this.
Yeah.
And just because, we worked very closely on a student competition, and I've been having a lot of these conversations, with the designers when they were brought on board to be the judges as well. I think while it's okay to write an email, I mean, it's okay, but that shouldn't be the only means that you have tried and just given up. I'll absolutely support Alan on this, that you need to make an extra effort. And because this industry that you are in is so out there, you need to just try to grab opportunities to, sort of either schedule a meeting, or just walk in, or just, I don't know, just do something different. Not always a box of chocolates from the favorite works, but that's a brilliant idea. Honestly, I keep seeing all these stories online as
Yeah.
well, where people customize things and leaves an impact. It not always can lead to a job, because if they don't have one, they don't have one, but it really leaves an impact. And if nothing else, you have a mentor that you've suddenly
Yeah.
found, who'll help you, who'll shape you, who'll guide you. So definitely, to all the young graduates, aspiring architects and designers, just have to think a bit out of the box, which is what you guys do,
Mm.
and try to make those relations, because I know it's not easy, and I know not everyone gets a job straight away out of uni. But if you hit the right spot, with these people, you never know what can come out of
Yeah.
it. And everyone's eagerly waiting for a good conversation. And honestly, the one thing I've also understood is everyone is a good mentor.
Yeah.
They really, really love it. And you would think that, oh, I don't think she has time for it, or I don't think he wants to do it. But in reality, they really want to nurture young minds. And that's why we found 10 judges who who wanted to
Yeah.
take on interns. And as I mentioned the names before, they were some of the top firms.
Yep.
So there is no, like, I don't know how to wait, I forgot the word for this, but there is a lot. There is a lot out there, and there are a lot of people out there who are ready to shape and guide
Yeah.
you. So just grab on that opportunity and go for it.
I think just to sort of add on, the key would be to, I mean, nobody wants to deal with someone who's very transactional, right?
Yeah.
Like if you come across as, listen, I'm all excited, I'm all pumped, provided I get that offer letter, people don't want that. But if you're someone who's genuinely passionate, right, and you can give off the fact that you want to add value, right, be it just, you can be equally excited about going to a meeting, about getting a cup of coffee, about putting a mood board together, about putting a spec together. And then, of course, if you get to do a design, happy days. But you're equally excited about all of that because you're just that passionate
Yeah.
about being able to participate in anything. And I think any designer wants to mentor that. Any designer wants to fuel that fire even more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you never know. I mean, internships are a great start to full-time jobs.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you'll actually get it like
Yeah.
immediately, but it's a lot of internships, networking really helps.
Yeah.
That puts together it. And this is actually a great debate.
Yeah.
Should interns be paid or not paid?
Oh, I have a very strong answer for that.
Oh, I want to know it. I want to know it. Let's go.
100% paid.
Yes.
100%.
I agree. Oh my God, I couldn't agree
Yeah.
more than that. I actually have a fun story I'm going to tell you while we're in this subject. I'm not going to take a name, but if he's listening to this, he's going to get it straight away. I was hearing a story when I was putting this all together about, internship programs.
Yeah.
And just to put into perspective how Gen Z also, thinks,
Right.
and how straightforward they are as well. So there was this girl who was going through her internship with a really good company. And on the last day of the internship, he was like, okay, thank you so much. And it was great having you. She literally just walks into his office and is like, so where's my offer letter? Where's my full-time job? And this is a real story, by the way.
Wow.
And he just sat there on the chair like,
Was I supposed to have one?
and she felt so ungrateful because he didn't have an offer letter, that she was
Right.
like, okay, fine. So I think that's not cool.
Hmm.
Like, they welcomed you for
Yeah.
like a month, 2 months,
Yeah.
and they sort of definitely trained you and
Right.
helped you get some experience that was otherwise lacking from your portfolio. You don't just walk into
Yeah, probably
and
not,
say,
right?
and say, where's my offer letter?
Yeah.
So when I heard this story, all I could do was laugh, number one,
Hmm.
just imagining as a millennial. Yes, I'm slightly old. As a millennial, I would never dare to do that.
Oh no, I would be like, thank you so much for
Thank you
the
so much. Yes.
opportunity.
Yeah, I'm so grateful
I'm so
to
grateful.
you. Eternally grateful to you.
Anything else you need in the next month, I'm
Call me.
flexible. Like that's the route I would have taken. But yeah, funny story. Now that I'm kind of on the hiring end of things as well, I see that. Like I see, new graduates when they come, they are a lot more. Well, I want to say a lot more determined and a lot more focused on what they want.
Yeah.
And if you don't align to that, they're more than happy to kind of just be like, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. I'm not wasting my time
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
And honestly, that's a good thing as well.
Mm,
And I think more power to them because
Yeah.
they know what they want.
yeah.
And if they don't have it, they're just like, my time is too precious. So I'm not just sitting around
Yeah,
doing
it's a good
something
trait
that
to
I don't
have.
need to. So it
Yeah.
is really, really good. But I mean, everything has two sides to it. So
Yeah.
it can either flip on the other way or not.
True.
But I do have to say that the Gen Z coming into work is going to be one of the most exciting times for
Yeah.
every organization.
Yeah.
There are now lectures happening on how to welcome Gen Z into the workplace. And there are experts actually talking about it just to adapt, the people into the mindsets and stuff. And it's like crazy. It's a whole new thing going on now.
Believe it or not, this is something which at Orange, where I currently work, this is something which even we've been starting to talk about. Wherein we're like, I don't really know how to like even address the topic, but the conventional ways of doing things in studio, even something like an introduction. I mean, when I joined a design studio, it was the director who kind of walked me around everyone and said, this is so and so, this is so and so, this is so and so. You'll work with him, you'll work with her. These are your projects. Da, 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 da. 10 minutes, there's a coffee machine. Here's your coffee. Here's your machine. If you need anything, speak to her. And that was it, right? But that conversation is very different now, wherein it's like, this is all of that's the basic. But then on top of that, this is what you'll be expected to do. This is where you'll be given an opportunity to grow. This is what you'll be given, and this is what you can take ownership for. It's very kind of creating a framework quite early.
Yeah.
Which I think for older designers, we never really had that. Like nobody really said that these are your KPIs, so to speak, and if you hit them, this is this and this is this. I think for someone like me, it was still quite loose. It was like, yeah, like keep doing what you're doing. You'll get to where you need to eventually, but there was no framework. And I think that's what we're starting to look at also, which is actually creating framework for designers,
Yeah.
especially younger designers.
Is
I
she
digress.
your first Gen Z hire?
Are you? I don't know. I think so.
She
I think
seems like
so.
a very sweet version
Shweta is
of
awesome.
the Gen Z term that I've actually used. I'm going to try a lingo. We Gucci?
Gucci? We Gucci?
Well, I'm trying to keep up, you see.
Yeah. I know how that feels like. I got a weird. I was at a university doing like a crit, and I was like, "Hey, man, like your design's lit," and the guy just looked at me saying like, "Oh, come on, man, come on."
Your
man."
design slay.
Slate is the next one.
Come on, tell me, am I right or am I right?
Yeah,
See, there we go.
Exactly.
Maybe you can take some tips off me, Alan.
Yes,
Some
yes, I will.
offline conversations on Gen Z lingos.
Absolutely, will do. Right. So, unfortunately, we have sort of reached the end of our show. Well, almost the end. We do have a bit of a tradition which we do on this
Okay.
show, and that is pretty much one of our previous guests leaves a blind question for the next guest, not knowing who they are.
Okay.
And I've memorized your question today. So, your question is, I mean, this would typically be to a designer, but I think it applies to you as well. If you can describe yourself in one word, what would it be? You can take your time to answer,
Oh my God, this is going to be the hardest thing.
but it has to be one word. And don't go for one of those like hyphenated words, because I've seen people do that.
I was just going
No, it doesn't apply.
I think I'm going to use the term enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic.
I think I'm filled with enthusiasm and I wanted to use another word so badly, but I cannot. So it's actually a tie. I'm just going to say it out though. So you guys can maybe let Alan know, if you know me, that what fits better. I think it's going to be passionate and enthusiastic. So those are, I think,
Two sides of the same coin,
Yeah,
almost.
sort of, but
Yeah.
they do have a different meaning indirectly. You can be passionate, but you don't have to be enthusiastic, and you can be enthusiastic as a person, but you don't have to be passionate. But I think these two are so closely linked with me, so I'm going to leave that as a
All right.
food for thought for the listeners. That what do you think? And do you want me to leave a question now?
We can do that offline.
Oh, thank God.
We leave it completely blind. That's the beauty of it, right? So like you don't know.
So I don't know who the person. Oh, I love it.
No one will know who gave the question and no one knows who received the question.
All the best to the person who has to answer it, because I am going to leave a tough one, probably with some Gen Z lingos out there.
All right, cool. Shuchita, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Alan. This has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Needless to say, we look forward to Index and best of luck for KSA.
Thank
I
you.
know that that's right around the corner. For the rest of you guys, if you need to get in touch, we leave a couple of contact information, social handles probably, I don't know, but there'll be something in this episode
Absolutely.
where you can get in touch. And on that note, we will catch you guys next week.
Thank you so much. See you.
Fellow aFormer, thank you so much for your time. If this episode added any value to you, please share it with anyone who may benefit. If you want to carry on the discussion, please get in touch with us over socials. We are at aForm Show on the gram and hello@aform.studio on email. That is at aForm Show on the gram and hello@aform.studio on email. Until next time, stay inspired.